Hey, we all want to raise great kids, right? But what's the number one thing that you and I can do to make sure they turn out great? Well, that's what we're going to talk about on today's 5-Minute Focus.
Okay, welcome everybody. If you are a parent, you are listening carefully because we all want to raise good kids.
For
we
sure.
do. We love
For
our
sure.
kids. There's no way to measure a love for a child. I mean, we just love our kids so much. But what can we do to ensure that they are going to grow up to be wise, to be assets to society, to be productive, to make good choices? And this is wide open. There's hundreds of books written about it. But we want to give you something very, very simple. There's one thing to focus on in raising kids. And you might think this has to do with faith or whatever. It's actually not. It can lean towards that. But the number one thing is to teach your children how to think.
For themselves.
How to think for themselves. Not to just believe everything that comes their way, not to just follow. Nobody wants their kids just to be a follower, but to actually teach your children how to think. So that's a great idea. Some of us are going, wow, I want to teach my children how to think. So what are some ways that we can start applying this to how can I teach my children to think? What are some of the questions we can ask?
I think there's 3 questions that there's a lot more. There's 3 big questions that we can start teaching our kids. Don't give them the answer. Work them through the process of these 3 questions. And the first one is this. Is it true?
True.
Anything they hear, anything they come up against, any situation, is it true?
Now, not to be rebellious, but even in school, when a teacher's talking, when they're learning something, when they're listening to the radio, to teach our kids to think and ask themselves, is this true? We know that we are being sold lies all the time, commercials on TV.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you love your kids to be able to discern that, no, that one pill is not going to make them beautiful and give them $1 million, just because, well, the TV told me.
Yeah.
No, but to teach our kids to think is to ask them that, for them to be asking themselves, is that true? Even to question mom and dad, not rebellious.
No, that's not
but
the
heart.
heart.
But to ask, Dad, is that true? I might say something, Dad, is that really true? And get them in that mindset of asking themselves the question, is that true or not? It will do so much in creating them to think. And number 2.
Number 2 question is, what if everybody did what I'm about to do?
I tell you, this is amazing. I see it happen all the time. I live my life by this constantly. When I hear ideas, I always ask myself, oh, that sounds interesting. What if everyone did that? I oftentimes think about the church. We talk about this often. What if everyone was a Christian like me? Would Christianity be growing or dying? Would it be good or would it be bad? But to teach our kids that, and I think as a kid, maybe some of us said, hey, if Johnny jumped off the bridge, would you?
That's where this question starts. But to engage it past that in decisions.
Well, if Johnny jumped off a bridge, what if everybody did? Well, civilization would be over, okay? That's not a good idea. But for them to just think, and when they hear ideas, well, what if everybody did it? Is that a true principle? Because if it's true for one, it's true for everybody. And to get your kids to just start asking that question, what if everybody quit school early? What if everybody learned to read really good? What if it works to get them to think?
Positive and negative side.
Oh, yeah, both
sides. What if
everybody
did this?
Absolutely. Just to get in the practice of thinking, to ask that question, is it true? And what if everybody did this? And the last question.
What does God have to say about this?
Does God comment on this? Boy, if we could teach our kids to just think. I know culture's doing this, or I know everybody's doing this, but to get them to think as they observe, does God say anything about this? And is it relevant? Is what God says, is it relevant to what's going on here? Imagine there's so many things we want to give our kids. We wouldn't have to give them money. We wouldn't have to give them toys, things. We wouldn't have to give them stuff. If we could teach our children to think, just think going through life of asking, is it true? What if everybody did that? Does God say something about this? Imagine how our kids would grow up to be mature assets to society, people you can count on. They would be just awesome, amazing people that they could make their way in life and help others, and they would be amazing. This world would be a great place if we could raise our kids to just teach them how to think.
For sure. So hopefully that gives you some encouragement if you are a parent watching this, and we hope that you will be able to help raise your kids to be great people.
Hey, we really hope that this video was helpful for you. If you'd like to stay up to date on our weekly content, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on that little bell icon so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. And if you'd like to support the ministries here at Access Church and help make videos like this possible, there'll be a link in the description below. As always, we appreciate your partnership in helping us draw people into a growing relationship with God through Jesus Christ.